The meaning of the caste system. The caste system is the chain of life, and in reality, it is the integrated all the things like social, economic, political, religion, whatever things inside the caste to run the society. Now, the historical development of the caste system. Indus Valley civilization was one of the greatest civilization on the planet. Mohenjo-daro and Harappa were two big cities belonging to Indus Valley region. 3000 BC it was highly rampant, and the Dravidians and Ashrit were the greatest of the Indus Valley civilization. And most of the parties in Pakistan and some of the parties in India, when it declined around 1500 to 2000 BC, from Eastern Europe, Aryans migrated or merged or occupied into Indus Valley region. At that time, society was or population was increasing quite much, and single people, single community or society could not fulfill the whole society. And these Aryans were very brave, and they observed in China, Africa and Europe, they had division of labor, and to make the division of labor to run the society in Nepal, in South Asia like India, interest, attitude, ability, strength, capability, skill, knowledge, and so on. They made such kind of criteria, and then they divided people, and it turned into the birth ascribed means one generation to another generation, such kind of work was following. Then it turned the caste system of birth ascribed. Manu Smriti, 2000 earlier, Manu was Brahmin priests or rulers, and Putyabu was the main principle of the caste system, and certain people have certain work. Now I have to go to in this context. Siddhartha Gautama was the son of Kshatriya king Shuddhodana, who was ruling in Lumbini, Nepal. Siddhartha Gautama did not like his father's social system like caste system. One day, Siddhartha Gautama was traveling to Lumbini to Gaya. At that time, he was so thirsty. On the way, he was drinking from the Chandal lady's hand. It was quite much criticized about him. And Chandal is only found in India, not to Nepal. Such kind of the religious or historical activities was written in Jataka. It means the caste system is existed in Nepal about 2600 only. About 1349, Sultan Samsudil Haq attacked the Kathmandu valley and destroyed the lot of the development infrastructure, even the broke on the three, even the broke the three pieces of the Pashupati. Pashupati is the greatest god of Hindus and Buddhists. They worship the same god in different names. In Lichavi era, there was the four color and alternate castes. When the Jayasiti Malla became the king 1380 to 1394, he would like to reform the social and economic situation of the country, and he invited the five Brahmins from southern India to extend the caste system. And four color 64 castes introduced, which is mentioned, which account is mentioned in Hansarad references, and certain people had the certain, or if they bypass, they could get punishment. In Jangabahadur era, when Jangabahadur became an administrative head or executive head or head, at that time, Surendra Bir Vikram Sadev was the king, and Jangabahadur was powerful. That's why he introduced the legal code 1854, and then the society became quite much disorder, legally quite disorder. Higher and low, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishyas were the higher castes, and the lower castes, Sudras were lower castes. And touchable and untouchable, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya were touchable, and the Sudras were untouchable. And purity and impurity, Brahman is purity and the Sudra is impurity. In this way. Punishment, according to the caste rank, according to the caste, the hierarchical caste rank, Brahman could get the less punishment, Sudra could get the severe punishment, even the death penalty and so on. In the society, social and economic inequality was highly rampant, and the lower castes always discriminated and humiliated from society. Sudra, two categories of Sudra. First is what are unacceptable, touchable, and second, what are unacceptable, untouchable. And discrimination and segregation in society, and certain castes putting the certain rank, status, and in this way society became the unusual disorder. Face of the caste system, hierarchy. Brahman is the higher caste and Sudra is the lower caste. All the hierarchy system. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. They are in the row in hierarchical system. Hereditary status. If someone in the family or member was getting title of prize or some reward or status, then offspring could also be caused the same ways. Traditional occupation Traditional occupation was one of the most remarkable in the caste line, and if they bypass to their own work to another work, they follow another work, they could punishment. And a traditional work, Damai Kami Saki, traditional work was quite much important in society, and in a way the Brahman also the same, Kshatriya also own for father's work they should follow. Endogamy, every caste has their own relationship within a caste. It means the marriage system. In the marriage, if someone marries to someone, they should have he or she should have the same caste. If they cross the line, they could get the punishment. Principle of purity and impurity. Brahman is the purity, and Sudra were impurity castes. And Brahman is the Vaishya Sudra. They are purity castes. Commissural restriction of the food taboo. Certain castes have allowed to eat or cook the certain food. If they cross the line, they could get punishment, and such kind of festivals. Caste system. Classification of the caste system. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. There are 4 castes, and Brahman duty is giving more and taking less, receiving less. Teaching and religious performances, because in reality Brahman, without the wealth, without the political power, even the people praise to Brahman's work. Kshatriya, second category of the caste system, and the soldier and the rulers to protect the country and so on. Vaishya, business transaction and demand, they fulfill the demand and supply of the people, and the Vaishya's work is business work. Look like a big modern time we call the business community or business person. Sudra's work is manual work, cleaning the street, dirty work, clothing and making the shoes, and so on. But in the most important things is that Sudras, such kind of work were not and ordinary, but the society would not digest to give the priority to the Dalit people. Research question: how and when and why the caste system introduced and its impact in society. To understand and analyze the caste and the caste-based discrimination, or to explore the impact of the caste system, is the main objective of thesis. In sociological theory, structural functionalism every community or society working together to fulfill the whole society. In the caste lines, also different castes working to their own forefathers' work or traditional work to run the society, to run the entire society, or to fulfill the whole society. That's why structural functional theory is good in this research. Theoretical framework to review the previous, the caste, religious literature and so on, which is could make the good feedback to this research work. Research methods, quantitative methods, and the data collection is the primary and secondary sources. Primary sources, email questionnaire interview, and telephone and so on. Secondary sources, caste-related article and books and so on. And caste-based discrimination. Lower castes like Sudra are not allowed to enter the house or hotel of higher castes. Towards the sacred thread is forbidden for Dalit. It is only the used so-called higher castes, especially Brahman and Kshatri, and some of the Neva also used. Neva caste is also used. Public places, just like the water tap and oil pond, are not allowed because they have to sit in far distance when they fulfilling their pot, and then after so-called Dalit will get opportunity. And are not allowed to attend the government and religious activities places, and such kind of the system is making the more painful to the people. Bali Gharib system, bondage labor system, and carrying the household and the dead animals were the main responsible for Dalit people, because without the doing such kind of the work, how the so-called higher castes could fulfill their own daily life, daily needed things. Polite speaking things, Dalit should talk very politely with so-called higher castes, and speaking manners would distinguish whether Dalit or not Dalit. Martial status. If the higher castes marriage put the martial status with lower castes, he or she will boycotted from society. And when early in the morning, someone says Kami, the lower castes, untouchable, they could think all day could is why. In this way, society is this like a caste-based discrimination is focusing on the food and kitchen, but now it is not limited. It is the political, economic, educational, and so on. That is why it is expanded the caste-based discrimination. In the earlier times, food and kitchen was concentrating, but now it is unlimited. Global concern. Caste and work-based discrimination is going on in different countries of the world, like Algeria, Bangladesh, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Guinea, India, Japan, Kenya, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Nepal, Nigeria, Pakistan, Rwanda, Senegal, Somalia, Sri Lanka, and Yemen. And more than 260 million people around the world are caste-based discrimination, are facing the caste-based discrimination. 160 million in India, 5 million in Japan, about 45 million to Nepal. And how this caste-based discrimination expanded as a mushroom. It means when the more than 200 years East India Company was ruling in the India until 1947 AD. At that time, they sent in different countries, like especially in the African countries, or different countries, to farming the sugar cane and sugar cane mill factory and so on. In this way, such kind of the tendency, expanding tendency, because they were taking their own culture and identity with them, and then they colonized themselves, and such kind of the caste discrimination practice was going on. Nepal's government effort, more than 104 years was the Rana rulers were cruel and autocrat and so on. And 1854 civil code replaced in 1963 AD. 1963. And caste-based discrimination was illegal. And then to improve the situation of the Dalit people, Dalit Development Committee formed in 1997. All the members were Dalit committees to improvement of the Dalit situation. As well, Dalit Commission 2002 formed, and all the members of commission were Dalit, that also the same purpose. 1990 Constitution elaborating caste-based discrimination is illegal, and entering Constitution 2006 caste-based discrimination is illegal, and 2017 Parliament announced Nepal as an untouchable free country. The Constitution 20 September 2015 replacing the interim Constitution of 2007 in basis of Federal State Council. It means that we all this systematically telling caste-based discrimination is illegal, and the different head of the state or head of the government focusing, telling the verbal speech, caste-based discrimination is illegal. But the main thing is that government is very fast to introduce the theoretical aspect, to announce the theoretical aspect very fastly, one by one. but less attention into the practical. Theory and practice, it means the theory and practice should go side by side to, to make anything to take out in reality. But the government is always focusing on the theoretical aspect, but then in the practical ways it is very weak. It means the theory and practice is the two shapes of a coin. Social movement before 1951, after 1951. Before 1951, Rana, more than 104 years, Rana was ruling the country. Social, economic, political, educational system was so bad, and certain people have, certain castes have right to study, and even the Dalit had no right to study the religious books like Ved and so on. And but anyway, social movement, Dalit scholars, Dalit people were actively or inactively, they were raising their own voice to escape from the inequality from the society. But it was so hard if sometimes they could get a severe punishment. And after 1951, democracy introduced in Nepal. Somehow it was so open door, but they Dalits were trying to go to worship the gods or into the temple, to enter the temple, and like the dairy farm, to sell the milk, and social participate in the public places and so on. But even the administration and the society, they did not accept, but after 1951, one by one, they formed a different community, different association, that is the association, to raise the one voice, and because the international environment is making the more easier to go to social movement in fruitful ways. How Sudra are forwarding? There are some of the items. Sanskritization means to follow the path of Brahmins, like a teaching a religious, doing the religious performances, and giving more and taking less. Such kind of the attitude and behavior, such kind of the atoms, such kind of the things they develop. That's why it's called Sanskritization. Modernization using the important ways like idea, equipment and habit. Because Dalits were learning the different things from the time being. Westernization, cultural, economic, and the political system of Europe, they were following, and the different countries, Western countries or developed countries influence quite more, and international non-government organizations working in different part of Nepal to change the situation of Dalit people. That's why the Westernization is making the more powerful weapons to change the Sudra's daily life. Industrialization, converting the social and the economic order, because without the social and economic order, it will not be possible. That is why industrialization is making the more comfortable today. Politicalization, to achieve the certain goal of Dalit, political power is most important thing. That's why Dalit not only limited in the vote bank, they represent in they become the candidate in the different level of government and working different government offices and so on to change their entire Dalit society. Organization, different castes, different Dalit castes are organize their organization to raise their own voice, because the unite is, if someone unite, their voice will increase, their voice will heard by government and society and so on, and they are the Dalit organization established different Dalit organization, different caste organization, and further prosperity of the Dalit people. Education is the most important things. That is why Dalit people, scholars, Dalit people are multiplying and getting the education from abroad, and they learning from within the country, and some of them going to study abroad, and when they getting the education from abroad and back from own country, and they raise their own community voice. If not living the abroad, they cooperate and pressure to the government and a different level of society to do the work of to do the some work behalf of the Dalit people. That is why Sudra is forwarding day by day, and even the illiterate Sudras also, they knew very well their own right and duties, and their demand is not so big. Their demand is they would like to live equally than other castes. Conclusion. In reality and fact, Dalits are culturalists, religious, and the scientists. And society should acknowledge such kind of things, because their pattern of work will clearly identify what the society does not want to give them priority, to allow the traditional work. It means the traditional work is one of the most important things. And people inheritably, they learn their forefathers, or when the people, even inside the stomach, even they be active when they born it, and then they were following easily. They could follow the footprint of their parents, and that's why there is to alive and active the traditional work, because in the education system to improve the society, to improve the people, and to develop the country, modern education and traditional work is most important thing. But we have to give the proper training, enhancement or support financially, and so on. Then they will compete the modern society, and the society will go very smoothly, because the education, modern education, and the traditional or fusion will make one of the great input in society. Touchable and untouchable words should be moved, because we have to remember, when we born, all the people, all the children, all the baby are one kind of the status, whatever you can say, touchable or untouchable, whatever say. And when they grow up, and when they getting the education and different kinds of atmosphere, then people turn into good path or bad path. That is why the touchable and untouchable word is very cruel word, and untouchable word could make the Dalit people very bad position, humiliated and discriminated, look like to their own mind and so on. In the untouchable word, in the Finnish word, it is called the diplomatic term. But anyway, untouchable is in the English word, in the lowest rung of the society, or at that. The government should implement the law and order in the good trend, because yes, in the Nepal context, law is for everyone, but the implementation part is very weak, and to make the good society, implementation part should active. And civil society should do good work for low caste. Civil society is the main mirror of the nation. And now, different kinds of civil society formed in Nepal. Dalit civil society, or ethnical civil society. But the civil society should, the wide range and needy people should get a good output from them. And civil society is the watching to the government and concerned society to find out the good and bad path. public awareness is most important things. Public awareness, Dalit and non-Dalit need the equal public awareness. Because we know the things. Everyone physical structure is the same. That is why there is no difference between the people to people. That is why public awareness is creating the perfect person in society. And we could not see the discriminated society, means the Dalit and non-Dalit. All the people are equal. To improve the socio-economic and educational and political situation of Dalit communities. That's why the Dalit condition should reform, should make the what should make the in good order. That's why they need the economic prosperity, educational opportunity, and a political participation in different government levels and bureaucracy and so on, and non-government offices and so on. Basic human right of people should fulfill. Without the basic human right, means the poverty reduction, to fulfilling the stomach is the most important thing. Yeah. An empty stomach, people cannot do anything. That is why to make the society, to make the good relationship between the different castes, fundamental human rights will needed and fulfilled. In every sphere of life, equality is needed. Without the equality, is the main hindrance in society. Inequality is making the more disturbances in society. That's why every caste should take care to another caste if there is needed desperately here. Concerning authorities or people of society should have a good thought, good behavior and a good attitude over the people. Because if this concerning authorities have not such kind of the quality, they could not contribute contribute to anything. That is why society would making the worst position. Reservation and quota system should continue without the, and at that time without getting the reservation and the quota system, Dalit could not uplift their own situation. That is why to make this reservation and the quota system, empowerment is also equally needed. Because without the empowerment, people cannot use properly to any responsible. In this way, the caste system should run smoothly. Discrimination chapter should totally close it. Discrimination is making the big hindrance in society. conflict in society, divide the people to people, anarchy, product the anarchy. In this way, system to any system is good, but this system operator or society should very caution. Thank you. If you have some question, debate regarding about this presentation, please freely, I will be freely open. I will be more glad, happy than ever. Thank you.